Good evening all. Today our class is about axillary artery. Please watch the video completely. Share with your friends and classmates. Subscribe to our channel. If you watch the video completely, it will give some encouragement to me. Okay, now coming to the point. Today our class is about the axillary artery. One of the important concept for essay answer as well as in the 5 marks. Axillary artery. Okay, we will discuss axillary artery along with the mnemonics and along with the shortcuts. Okay, to remember the axillary artery. Now coming to the introduction, the axillary artery is the continuous part of subclavian artery. See, if it is the axillary artery and it is the subclavian artery, it is the continuation part of subclavian artery. So this axillary artery is divided into 3 parts. It is divided into 3 parts. The first part or superior part, second part or posterior part, third part or inferior part. Okay, and next this axillary extends from the outer border of first rib. So here there is an first rib and outer border of first rib to the outer border of first rib, and it ends and continues as brachial artery. It ends as the continuation of brachial artery. It extends from outer border of first rib to the brachial artery. It continues as brachial artery. This is the introduction of this axillary artery. Now coming to the relations of axillary artery. See, relations are very complicated to remember in this question, so I will make it simple to remember. Okay, there are anterior relations, posterior relations, medial relations and lateral relations. Anterior, posterior, medial and lateral. These are the 4 relations that is included in this axillary artery. And now coming to the first point, there are 3 parts and each part has 4 relations. Okay, first part. Now coming to the anterior relations, we will write the anterior relations of all the 3 parts. Here is the first part, second part and third part. Now coming to the first part, the anterior relation of the first part has pectoralis major. Pectoralis major first, and next loop of communication between lateral and medial pectoralis nerves. Loop of communication between lateral and medial pectoralis nerve. This is the anterior relation of first part, and anterior relation of second part is pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. This is the anterior relation of second part, and anterior relation of third part of axillary artery is pectoralis major and medial root of median nerve. Third part is pectoralis major and medial root of medial nerve. These are the anterior relations of these 3 parts, and along with this, skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. These 3 are common for these 3 parts. Skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. These 3 are common for all the 3 parts. Next, we have completed the anterior relation. Now coming to the posterior relation. Posterior relation, we have a mnemonic that my scapula is inclined posteriorly by rats. Okay, my scapula inclined posteriorly by rats. Okay, now coming to the point, first part. Now coming to the first part, medial cord of brachial flux. Medial cord of brachial flux, serratus anterior. In the serratus anterior, it includes first and second digitation, first and second digitation of serratus anterior, and the third one is first intercostal space with intercostal muscles. First intercostal space, ICS, first intercostal space with intercostal muscles. Okay, this is the first part, that is medial cord of brachial plexus, serratus anterior, and first intercostal space of intercostal muscle. Next, coming to the second part. Now coming to the second part of the posterior angle, posterior surface, posterior cord of brachial flux, posterior cord of brachial flux and subscapularis, posterior cord of brachial flux and subscapularis. This is the second part. And now coming to the third part of posterior surface, third part of posterior surface, it is radial nerve, axillary nerve, subscapularis, tendon of latissimus dorsi, radial nerve, axillary nerve, subscapularis, tendon of latissimus dorsi. These are the parts that belongs to the posterior surface of this axillary artery. These are the three parts. Now coming to the lateral surface of the axillary artery, first part contains lateral and posterior cords of brachial flux, lateral and posterior cord of brachial flux. Now coming to the second part, lateral cord and coracobrachialis, lateral part and coracobrachialis, lateral cord and coracobrachialis. Now coming to the third part, coracobrachialis, musculocutaneous nerve, lateral root of median nerve and a trunk of median nerve. I repeat again, coracobrachialis, musculocutaneous nerve, lateral root of median nerve, trunk of median nerve. These are the parts that belongs to the lateral part of the, lateral surface of the first three parts. And now coming to the medial surface. At the medial surface, the first part contains axillary vein, and in the second part it contains axillary vein, medial pectoral nerve, medial cord of brachial plexus. Okay, axillary vein, medial pectoral nerve, medial cord of brachial plexus. And third part contains axillary vein, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, medial cutaneous nerve of arm. Axillary vein, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, medial cutaneous of arm. These are the surfaces, these are the medial surface of axillary nerve of the first three parts. Okay, this is all that these are the relations of the axillary nerve. We have completed anterior, posterior, lateral and medial surface of the relations of the axillary nerve. Now coming to the branches of axillary nerve. See, there are three parts of axillary nerve. Okay, these are the three parts. First part contains one branch, second part contains two branches, third part contains three branches. First part contains one branch, second part contains two branches, third part contains three branches. The mnemonics of these branches are, I will say here, sometimes life seems a pain. Sometimes life seems a pain. Sometimes life seems a pain. That is, first one is superior thoracic artery. Second one is thoracoacromion artery. Third one is lateral thoracic artery. Fourth one is subscapular artery. Fifth one is anterior circumflex humeral artery. And sixth one is posterior circumflex humeral artery. Okay, these are the branches of axillary arteries, and the mnemonic of it is sometimes life seems a pain. Okay, next coming to the explanation of these branches. The first branch is superior thoracic artery. See, in each and every branch we are going to learn about the part of that branch. That means the branch that belongs to the part. That is the first point. And second point is extension of that branch. And the third point is supplies, where it supplies, the branch supplies. Okay, first one is the part comes from, next one is extension of the branch, third one is where it supplies. Okay, these are the 3 points that we will discuss about each branch of the axillary artery. First branch is superior thoracic artery. First branch is superior thoracic artery. It belongs to the first part of the axillary artery. Okay, it is the smallest branch. It is the small branch and belongs to the first part. Okay, next coming to the extension, it extends downwards, forwards and medial. Downwards, forwards and medially, and passes between, this is the pectoralis minor, this is the pectoralis major. It passes between these two muscles, and here is the axillary artery. It passes between these two muscles and it supplies to the pectoralis minor as well as pectoralis major and thoracic wall. Okay, it supplies to the 3 parts. First one is pectoralis minor, pectoralis major as well as the thoracic wall. This is all about the first branch of axillary artery. And now coming to the second branch, thoracoacromion artery, also called as acromiothoracic artery. Acromiothoracic artery. Okay, thoracoacromion artery, also called as acromiothoracic artery. Now it is the second part, branch of second part. Okay, next it emerges from the upper border of pectoralis minor. This is the pectoralis minor and it emerges from the upper border. This is the upper border and it comes from the upper border of the pectoralis minor, and it is divided into 4 parts. It is subdivided into 4 parts. Okay, it is subdivided into 4 parts. I will tell the mnemonic of these parts. Okay, we all know about the word cadaver. Cadaver means dead body. Okay, cadaver means dead body, and the mnemonic of it is, see, cadavers. Cadavers are dead people. See, the meaning of cadaver is dead people, dead body. Okay, it is the mnemonic of these sub branches of this second branch. Cadavers are dead people. That means C for clavicular branch, A for acromion branch, D for deltoid branch, and P for pectoral branch. Okay, C for clavicular branch, A for acromion branch, D for deltoid branch, and P for pectoral branch. See, this clavicular branch, it runs from the superior medial to the deep pectoralis major and supplies to the acromion. See, it extends from pectoralis major and supplies to the acromioclavicular joint. Supplies to acromioclavicular joint. Next, coming to the acromion branch, it comes from the coracoid process and ends by anastomosis over acromion process. Okay, next coming to the deltoid branch, it runs deltopectoral groove. See, it runs in a deltopectoral groove along with along with cephalic vein. Along with cephalic vein. Next, coming to the pectoral branch, it passes between pectoral muscles. That means pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. It runs between pectoralis major and pectoralis minor and supplies to the muscles as well as breast. Supplies to the muscles as well as breast. Okay, this is the second branch of this axillary artery. Now coming to the third branch. The third branch of it is lateral thoracic artery. Third branch is lateral thoracic artery. Okay, this branch belongs to the second part of axillary artery and it emerges from the lower border of pectoralis minor. Okay, the first branch arises in between these two muscles, and the second branch arises from the upper part of pectoralis minor, and the third branch arises from the lower part of pectoralis minor. Okay, and it supplies to the females. It supplies mostly to the lateral, mostly in females, and it gives the lateral mammary branches to the breast. Okay, these arteries large, and in females it supplies to the mammary branches of breast. In females it supplies to the mammary branches of the breast. Okay, next coming to the fourth branch, subscapular artery. It is the fourth branch and it is the largest branch, and it belongs to the third part of axillary artery. Largest branch that belongs to third part, and it runs along the lower border of subscapular to the inferior angle of scapula. This is the inferior angle of scapula. It extends from the subscapularis to the inferior angle of scapula here. Okay, next it supplies to the latissimus dorsi and serratus anterior. It supplies to the latissimus dorsi and serratus anterior. This is about the fourth branch of the axillary artery. Now coming to the fifth branch, anterior circumflex humeral artery. And the anterior circumflex humeral artery, we have had this word in the shoulder joint while studying about it. Now we are going to discuss about the anterior circumflex humeral artery. It is the third part of axillary artery, and it is the small branch. It extends from the it passes laterally in front of intratubercular sulcus of humerus, and anastomosis with posterior circumflex humerus. See, it runs from the intertubercular sulcus of humerus, and it anastomosis with the posterior circumflex humeral artery. It anastomosis with this artery. Okay, next it supplies to the head of humerus and shoulder joint. This is about the anterior circumflex humeral artery. Now coming to the last branch, posterior circumflex humeral artery. See, it is the largest branch. Much larger than anterior circumflex humeral artery, and it belongs to the third part of axillary artery. It runs backwards. Accompanied by axillary veins. Accompanied means together. Okay, it runs together with axillary nerve. Okay, it accompanied with the axillary nerve and passes through the quadrangular intermuscular space. Okay, extends to the quadrangular space. We will discuss about quadrangular space later. Okay, and it supplies. It runs accompanied by axillary nerve and passes through the quadrangular intermuscular space. and it supplies to these arteries supplies to the shoulder joint, deltoid muscles and muscles bounding the quadrangular space. We will discuss about quadrangular space later. Okay, shoulder joint, deltoid muscle and muscles that associated with the quadrangular space. These are the branches that belongs to the axillary artery. This is all about the axillary artery. See, in the textbook it is difficult to read in the textbook, so I will provide the notes in the Instagram. Thank you all. Please watch the video completely. Thank you all.